My name's Larry Crawford, and I got to thinking about winter coming on. I needed some way to keep my water from freezing in my chicken pens. After viewing the internet, I found nothing that really seemed to work for me. So I got to thinking, I've been in construction a good part of my life, and we always had these little igloo coolers on the job sites, and we always had plenty of cool water to drink for days. So one day I was at a yard sale and I happened to see this picnic cooler sitting there, $5. Well, that's the ideal situation. So I took it home, and here's what I come up with. I drilled 2 holes in the bottom of it with a 2-inch core bit, and the little center bit I let go all the way through into the interior core of the cooler, but the 2-inch only went through the exterior and the insulation. So very important, don't over drill. So now I've got the cores removed. The insulation stayed in. I had to take a screwdriver and pop the insulation out, but in the second picture to the right you can see the hole, and that's where my nipples are going to go. So I purchased my nipples on eBay. I strongly recommend, if you can find them at the hardware store or your local tractor supply, get them there. It took me almost 2 months to get them from eBay. Alright, this is a very important step. Take your nipples down to your local hardware store and have them size it, because they are metric. You need a metric bit, and then also I got a threader to thread the hole with, and that is also metric. Alright, after I got all that together, that was most expensive, probably about $14 or so for those 2 items. Drilled my hole out to the right size and I threaded the holes. Then I took my little nipples and I screwed it in, started it, and I did not use the ratchet. I just used my deep well socket and put it over the nipple and screwed it in by hand until it was snug. It would be easy to over tighten and strip and thread, so be aware. And once I was finished, the nipple is below the outside edge of the cooler, so that'll help in aid in air movement around it and freezing in the winter time. The second photo to the right again is the nipples inside the cooler. Alright, I drilled a hole through the side of the cooler for my electric cord for my little bird bath heater, and then I kind of wiggled it up and down until it stripped out and made me a slot in the cooler. So when I closed the lid, now I was able to insert the electrical cord through the slot, and will also give me some air movement. Now there's no guarantees that this will work for you in the areas you live in, how cold the temperatures get, so I'm not giving you any guarantees. It works for me. I'm just telling you what I came up with. Next step is you need to have a stand for your little water cooler or water feeder for your chickens. So I just went to the thrift store and I found this potty chair for the elderly. I took the components apart and I've got a nice metal stand now with adjustable legs. I took a couple pieces of treated 2x4 and I set the steel legs on them and circled them so I'd know exactly where they belong. I took a drill bit the size of the legs and drilled me a hole 3/4 of the way through the 2x4. You don't want to drill all the way through. Next I set the metal stand upside down and took my hammer and just drove the 2x4s onto the legs. It was a good snug fit. Next I mounted my box to the legs with these little plastic clips. You get them at the hardware store, very minimal price, and make sure again you use short screws. You don't want to screw into the interior part of the cooler. So here's my finished product now that's sitting in my chicken pen. So as you can well see, this is going to work out well for me. As you can see over here on this side, this is my bucket I've been using with the little nipples in it, and had a terrible problem with overheating water. Now I'm going to have cooler water and also be able to keep it heated in the wintertime for the chickens. So, alright, I hope this helps you all out. Seems like a really good idea to me.